Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. As previously discussed, I am doing real-time reading wrap-ups, and this time I am going to talk to you about Persuasion. I am at our lake house. I just started Persuasion. We arrived here late last night, so this morning when I woke up to have my coffee, I just sat outside here and got this book started. This is Jane Austen's Persuasion. I have not yet read it, so I'm really excited about it. I have to say, it's a little bit challenging going from just modern day writers to reading Jane Austen. So I'm 4 chapters into it right now, but at first it was a little bit difficult for me to make that transition into the way that Jane Austen writes, because she just throws you into a scene with so many characters and so many things going on, and I just always feel overwhelmed when I begin her books because of that reason. And just her writing in general I find to be a lot more difficult to read and to comprehend than some of the more modern books that are out today. So where a Jane Austen book that's 225 pages long would probably take me the same amount of time to read, say, a 500-page book that is written like in this time period. So I do enjoy it though. I just have to get myself into that place where I can be a little bit more patient with my reading skills and really focus on the storyline. So we spent 4th of July weekend at our lake house, now our home. I've made it to part 2 of the book, volume 2, chapter 1. I never realized it was broken into 2 volumes, which is interesting to me, but I'm really enjoying it. The more I started reading it, the more I got into it, the more I'm getting used to the language that Jane Austen uses, and it really is a really great story. I love the love story. I'm very curious to see what happens. I am hoping to finish this week because I want to start Mansfield Park when I'm down the shore on vacation, so hopefully I can get through this. I don't have too much more to go, but there was one line that I really enjoyed and I earmarked it to show you guys, because as I am currently packing up for vacation and planning for a trip down the shore, Anne, who is the main character of the story, and a group of people that she has become friendly with are all going to Lyme, which sounds like a seashore town, and I just want to read you the description that I was reading last night. So as I am packing and getting ready to go to the shore, I was just reading this part of the book where it says, Anne and Henrietta, finding themselves the earliest of the party the next morning, agreed to stroll down to the sea before breakfast. They went to the sands to watch the flowing of the tide, which a fine southeasterly breeze was bringing them in with all the grandeur which so flat a shore admitted. They praised the morning, gloried in the sea, sympathized in the delight of the fresh feeling breeze, and were silent. And that's pretty much how I start all of my mornings. When I go to the seashore, I usually get up early and I go for a walk.
And sometimes collect shells with me.
I do. Yes, Madison does often get up early with me, and we collect seashells too. And it's just funny that, you know, it's so long ago and things are kind of the same. This is exciting. I'm only about 30 pages away from finishing this, so I'm going to make myself some tea and finish Persuasion. I'm going to have this Puka Love Tea, which is, I believe it has chamomile, yes, lavender, organic rose. So this sounds very yummy. And look at how beautifully it matches the book. I just noticed the cameo necklace that I wore a couple of times this month in honor of Jane Austen July kind of matches the bookmark that I've been using. Isn't that very cute? Love it. This is one of my favorite bookmarks. It says, the person, be it gentleman or lady, who has not had pleasure in a good novel must be intolerably stupid. So I'm going to go make myself some tea and finish Persuasion. I'm nearing the end of the book. There's no spoilers here, but I just wanted to read this one part to you because I thought it was so funny. And you may say that I mean to call upon her soon. Make a civil message, but I shall only leave my card. Morning visits are never fair by women at her time of life, who make themselves up so little. If she would only wear rouge, she would not be afraid of being seen. But last time I called, I observed the blinds were let down immediately. So I just finished Persuasion by Jane Austen. It was such a great story. I very much enjoyed it. Like I said, it is a little bit more challenging to read Jane Austen, but I got through it rather quickly. I feel like I started it 4th of July weekend, and now it is July 10th, and I just finished it. So it is a story about a woman named Anne, and there was somebody who she was in love with when she was younger, and things didn't work out for them, mostly due to social status and the amount of money that he had, which always seems to be relevant in Jane Austen's books. There's always something about status and how much people are worth depending upon how much money they make and things like that. But she ends up not marrying him, and she never finds anyone else, and he ends up coming back into her life. But then there is another man. He's kind of interested in her. I don't want to give away the storyline, but there are 2 men, and throughout the story you're wondering what's going to happen. And in typical Jane Austen style, at the end all of these things come about, and you learn different things about people's pasts and their true character and stuff like that. So I do love that about her books. I feel like you're really getting to know the characters throughout the story, and then at the end all of these things happen, which really pulls you into the end of her books, and at that point you're committed and you can't wait to see how she wraps everything up. So it was really enjoyable. Next I'm going to be reading The Unhoneymooners. It's just going to be a fun beach read because I'm leaving for vacation tomorrow. And then after that I think we're gonna get back into some more Jane Austen with Mansfield Park. Good morning, guys. I am at the Jersey Shore. It's our first full day of our vacation here at Seaside, and I am going to start The Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. I already went to the bakery, got my coffee, found a quiet place here on the beach to sit down and read for a little while. So I'm excited to get this book started. I believe it is about a couple who is forced to be together due to a wedding that they attend. It's the best man and the maid of honor, and I believe everyone at the wedding is going to get food poisoning except for them, and the bride wants them to use their honeymoon vacation that they're not going to be able to get a refund on, and they just want them to go on their honeymoon for them and pretend that they are them. So I think that is pretty much the premise of the story. I've just started just the very beginning of them getting ready for the wedding and stuff like that. So I'm excited. This seems like it's going to be a fun beach read. Look at how beautiful the cover is. Definitely something I like to include in my beach bag. So I'm going to start The Unhoneymooners. I know it was kind of a last minute decision, but this has been a great choice for a beach read. I am thoroughly enjoying the story. It's very funny and takes place in Hawaii, which is perfect, and really has been a great read. Funny how when you're reading a couple of books at the same time, things kind of like merge. And I'm just finishing Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I've been listening to the Audible, and the bridesmaid and the best man are arguing, and she says to him, "You are Voldemort." I don't know. I always find it really cool when books reference other books, especially when I'm reading them at the same time. We just got back from the beach and I officially finished reading The Unhoneymooners, and it was really a perfect beach read, and I loved that she had so many Harry Potter references. But the end of the book, the last chapter prior to the epilogue, was just really stupid. It's like my 9-year-old finished the story And it was just really a really disappointing ending. And then once you get to the epilogue, it kind of ties things together a little bit better, and I appreciated that more. But the last chapter was just ridiculous, and I don't understand where it came from. The characters were totally out of character, and I really enjoyed the book because it was just, like I said, perfect for reading on the beach there in Hawaii. It's this hate to love story, but then it just got really weird. Aside from that, I did enjoy the rest of the book. It was just unfortunate that it had to kind of end the way that it did. The official ending and the epilogue was okay, but that last chapter was just really ridiculous. So now I'm going to get back into Jane Austen July with Mansfield Park. So I just wanted to update you guys on Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I just finished it. I've been listening to it here at the seashore, and I'm actually sitting on the beach right now. I went for a run and I was listening to it on my run and sitting here on the beach having coffee, listening to it. I don't want to give anything away, but one thing I have to say I did love about this book is mermaids and magical creatures that I love were a big part of this book. So that was a lot of fun. And I think it was really better than I thought it was going to be to start. It starts to get a little bit more violent than the other 3 books that I read, and I can definitely see it going in that direction. So I don't know what that's going to do for me, because I don't like books that are violent and bloody and scary. So I don't know. We'll see, but I'm still going to move on to the 5th book, hopefully in August. Since we returned from vacation, I've been having a really hard time focusing on Mansfield Park. I decided to switch over to my newer copy, Hello Princess, and I really just love this edition. The cover's so beautiful, so that kind of got me excited about it again. And I'm also listening to the Audible because, like I said, I'm having a hard time staying focused, and if I listen to it and then I read it, I just seem to comprehend it better. So that's what I've been doing, but I feel like it's going to take me a little bit of time to get through it because I am kind of double doing this book, but I'll get through it. It's a really great story so far. I love Fanny Price, and I'm curious to see what her love interest is going to be. It's lots of horrible characters in this book, which is pretty true of all Jane Austen books. So it's entertaining, as well as sometimes the characters are difficult to even deal with. It does definitely keep your interest. Last night, me and Madison watched Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Like I said, it definitely starts to get really dark, and there's just a lot more just blood and gore and things like that. So even watching it, it's kind of a lot to take in. I'm not sure. She's like really wanting to be in today's video. I'm really not sure if I'm going to pursue the next book right now. I might wait a little while just because the books are so hefty and they just take such a long time to get through. But I wanted to say it definitely is worthwhile reading the books before you watch the movie, because in watching The Goblet of Fire last night, I realized that there were so many key characters, scenes, things that happened that were left out. And even though the movies are very long, they're all about 2.5 hours or more, they don't cover everything in the book. So it's definitely worthwhile to read the book because you know what the characters are thinking and feeling, and there's so much more going on in the book than you will see in the movie. So that's going to be my last conversation about Harry Potter, and I'm just going to play it by ear in August, and if I feel like picking it up, I will, but there's so many other books that I'll show you at the end of this video that I hope to read. As I continue reading Mansfield Park, I just made myself a cappuccino. If you guys have ever used your own frother at home to froth your milk, oh my gosh, it's a game changer. I got a Keurig for Christmas that also froths milk, so you can make a cappuccino, and it's just like so good. And these are one of my favorite cookies. I discovered them in Disney. They have Mickey Mouse shaped ones of the Walker's shortbread cookies, and they're so good. So I'm having that. I'm reading Mansfield Park still, but I wanted to let you guys know, if you are like me and you become very interested in the author of books that you thoroughly enjoy, this is a great biography of Jane Austen. It's by Elizabeth Jenkins. And I've just kind of been skimming through it this month. I haven't read it from cover to cover, but I am kind of going through and learning a little bit about Jane Austen's life, which is very interesting. And also, this is a book that I purchased last year when I did Jane Austen July, and it's What Jane Austen Ate and Charles Dickens Knew. And it's just a great reference book. It's by Daniel Poole. And when I don't understand something, or if they talk about something that's not familiar to me, this is a great book to look up different things from the time that Jane Austen was writing in. So just a couple of add-on books for Jane Austen July if you ever decide to do it. And I am going to get back to Mansfield Park. I need to read this part to you guys because I think it's just wonderful. Fanny and Edmund are looking out of the window, and it's a beautiful night, and here is what Fanny says. Fanny spoke her feelings. "Here's harmony," she said. "Here's repose. Here's what may leave all painting and all music behind, and what poetry only can attempt to describe. Here's what may tranquilize every care and lift the heart to rapture. When I look out on such a night as this, I feel as if there could be neither wickedness nor sorrow in the world, and there certainly would be less of both if the sublimity of nature were more attended to, and people were carried more out of themselves by contemplating such a scene." I just love that. I just want to take a minute to tell you guys the storyline of Mansfield Park, and what I've done here is I pulled up a character map because with Jane Austen books I have such a hard time keeping track of the characters, and one thing that she does that drives me crazy is she uses like double names. So there's Sir Thomas Bertram, but then there's also his son Tom Bertram, and then there are two characters named Mary and then Maria. So it's already complicated because there's always so many. What are you doing, Madison?
I wanted to ask you something, but never mind.
It's been really hard lately to film. Constant interruption ever since March 13th. But anyway, it has been really hard to keep track of the characters. But we follow Fanny Price, who at the start of the book is a young girl. She's about 9-10 years old, and she comes from a very large family. I believe there's 9 people in the family, and the mom sends her off to go live with her cousins who are wealthy, where she is not and cannot afford all of these kids that she has. So Fanny moves in with her cousins, and there are 2 girls and 2 boys that she is cousins with, and you have Tom Bertram, his brother Edmund, and then there are 2 girls, Julia and Maria. So the 2 girls are kind of snobby and mean to her. Tom is just the type of guy who spends a lot of money, lives a little bit ruthlessly, and he's just not a very nice person. A lot of the characters in this book are not very nice, but Edmund is very nice to Fanny, and he's really the only one that seems to genuinely care for her throughout the book. She also has her aunt, Mrs. Norris, who is absolutely horrible, so mean to her. She kind of reminds me of the evil stepmother. And then we also have Mrs. Bertram and Sir Thomas Bertram, who are the aunt and uncle who took her in. So lots of really interesting characters in this book. Then there are 2 friends that come into play. Their names are Mary and Henry. Henry is a little bit of a player. He flirts with all of the girls. They all like him. And Mary is kind of a snob, but Edmund seems to start to take a liking to her. And that's kind of the baseline of the book, one thing that I have just started to read is there's this whole theatrical performance, which is really when the book starts getting interesting to me, because back then theater was kind of looked down upon. Being an actor or an actress was not really something that was a desirable thing to be or become, and they decide they're going to have this play, and Edmund is totally against it because it's just not proper, and then everyone's arguing over what part they're going to be, and it's just really comical. So far I'm really enjoying the book, and I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what it's about. I'm nearing the end, so I don't think I'm going to share much more because I don't want to ruin the entire plot for you. But that's just kind of how it begins, and it's been a lot of fun to read. I hope that you guys enjoyed my reading vlog. Again, it's been so much fun doing it this way, so as long as you guys are enjoying it, I think that's the way I'm going to be sharing my reading wrap-ups. And I'm also going to share with you my TBR for August. Here is my basket of books that I've chosen for August, so I'm going to quickly show you. I've decided to take a break from Harry Potter. I discussed it earlier in the video. It's just such a big book, and there are so many books that I want to read in the upcoming months. That's just really going to have me lagging behind, so I'm going to put that off for a little while. But on my Patreon channel, we all voted on what book to read for August, and we voted on Agatha Christie's Miss Marple, and it is Agatha August on YouTube, on BookTube. A lot of people read Agatha Christie books during the month of August. I did it last August. I read And Then There Were None, which was an amazing story and so much fun to read. So I'm looking forward to reading this book. I really have been enjoying mysteries lately. The other book that I'm going to be reading is Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day, and this is by Winifred Watson. Also seems like a really great story. I believe it's about a woman who becomes a type of a housekeeper or maid for another woman who is really famous and rich. And I kind of feel like it's going to be like a Cinderella story. She's going to kind of help her to spruce herself up and, you know, wear makeup and do her hair and dress nice and maybe fall in love. That's what I'm hoping to get from this book. I know there's a really great movie about this book with Amy Adams, who is one of my favorite actresses. So once I'm done reading this, I am excited to check out that book. Something else, I just wanted to read something lighthearted and fun, and I've heard a lot about P.G. Wodehouse, and this is the Inimitable Jeeves. So it's supposed to be a really comical book. Lots of people say that P.G. Wodehouse stories are just very fun, and I think it'll be a nice distraction right now as we're still dealing with some pretty heavy things in the world. So I just really wanted something light to read. And then I am also going to be reading The Giver of Stars. This is by Jojo Moyes. And actually I was really excited because we decided to read this book for our neighborhood book club, and then the library book club that I also belong to decided to read this book as well. So it's going to be fun to have two opportunities to discuss it with different groups of people. I'm really interested to see what their take is on it. From what I gather, it's about a group of women who has this traveling library during World War II, I believe, and all of their adventures and things together, of books that are based on actual real life events that have happened. So I'm excited to read this one as well. Once again, I hope that you guys enjoy the way that I'm doing my reading vlog and reading wrap up. I'm trying to put it all in one video that is vlog style just to keep it more fun, and I've really liked doing it that way. So I hope that you guys are enjoying it as well. I hope that you're all having a great summer. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all the stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye.